Whereas the prior two installments went back in time to explain the backstories of sisters Katie and Christy, this is the first actual sequel, taking place a few years after the second film. This one mostly follows the Nelson family, and unlike the previous films, which all took place in California, this one is set in Nevada. Although the way these films are, you wouldn't notice the change of scenery. They all take place in suburbia anyway. It starts out slower than usual, introducing a bunch of characters that you really don't care about. We see the youngest kid, Wyatt, playing soccer, and the teenage Alex playing the Kinect with her girlfriends. This scene with the Xbox Kinect has a payoff later on, but right now, it's just the girls messing around. Alex takes her boyfriend Ben to explore the family treehouse when they discover the neighbor boy, Robbie, just hanging out there. Of course, right from the beginning, he looks like he's got problems. Robbie's mother leaves town, and Alex's mother, Holly, agrees to take Robbie in. He introduces himself to Wyatt the next day, and look at him, he looks like a robot as he tries to shake the kid's hand. Ben shows the kids a neat lighting trick that can be pulled off with the Kinect, and the next minute, they're dancing to Rob Zombie. Robbie just sits on the couch watching the strange festivities like a zombie, but the next day when Alex and Ben check out the captured footage on their laptop, they notice some sort of movement that the infrared picked up right next to where Robbie was sitting. Finally, 26 minutes in, we get the conventional formula of listing off the nights. Right off the bat, it has Alex discovering Robbie alone in their living room at 3 in the morning, talking to his invisible friend Toby. She starts talking to Robbie when a ghostly image runs past him in the background, leaving Robbie to just wander off like the whole thing is normal. Alex shows the footage to her dad, Doug, who thinks they're trying to impress him with some sort of digital effects.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
What? Awesome?
No. Yeah, you guys
Dad,
are like
freaky.
consistently impressive with these videos.
Dad, that's not awesome. It's completely creepy.
A common staple of these movies is that the adults are completely oblivious to what's going on, no matter how much evidence gets shoved down their throats. In this case, it works really well, and it makes an interesting point. When it comes to technology, kids can outsmart the adults for a change. In the case of the video image, the dad has every reason to think they pulled off some kind of digital effect, like they were playing around with Adobe After Effects.
Yeah, what is that again?
There it is.
It goes through its paces. With the addition of the creepy kid roaming around the house, it adds a little bit of added tension, but it's predictable. We know something's going to happen involving this kid, and the whole time, we're just waiting for it. It's got the frantic pets, and it wouldn't be a Paranormal Activity film without a chandelier rocking back and forth. Of course, the parents don't give a damn that their daughter was nearly squished. They just care about replacing their chandeliers. Since when did we place such a high value on fancy pieces of glass? There's a little nod to The Shining. I can't help but notice that without that eerie over-the-shoulder shot, the effect just doesn't work as well. Eventually, Robbie lets Wyatt in on Toby and starts manipulating him to go along with his otherworldly weirdness. Wyatt and Robbie run across the street to the neighbor's house. When Alex gives chase, she explores the empty house and runs into Robbie's mom, who turns out to be Katie. There's a novel scene with the Kinect where we see an imprint of the demon lurking behind Wyatt as it addresses him, telling him that his real name is Hunter. That's right, Christy's baby who Katie kidnapped. How this family got a hold of him, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the fact that Katie moved in right across from him is no coincidence. In the third act, Katie invades the Nelsons' home and goes to talk to Wyatt in order to prepare him for some kind of demonic ritual. This is where all the freaky stuff starts happening. Alex gets locked in her garage when the car starts up, smothering her with the gas fumes. After confronting her parents and swearing up and down that she didn't even have the keys to her car, her parents still aren't convinced. This is what really annoys me about this film. In the first 3 movies, eventually everyone was let in on the fact that a demon was running rampant in their homes. The dad has a butcher's knife fallen in from an undisclosed location somewhere from his ceiling, is passed by several times by the demon, and still doesn't get that something is not quite right in suburbia. These are the worst parents I've ever seen. They give the word neglect a whole different meaning. Katie even roams around their house during the day. What is the mom doing? Yip-yapping on the phone while her house is being invaded. The movie itself is working fine at this point, but I just have no hope for these parents. They deserve whatever happens to them. When the mom dies, it's actually pretty comical. She falls from the ceiling like a dummy. If we didn't have the shot of her getting freaked out by Toby, this next shot, played out of context, would have been for laughs. It comes out of a scene from Scary Movie. I can see how someone new to the franchise might be a wee bit scared by this, but after sitting through the last 3 films, this is nothing short of hysterical. And Katie hears all this commotion and pretty much just acts like it's normal. You know, just a part of everyday, boring life in Demon Land. Then Katie kills Ben, and at this point the movie simply goes into slasher mode. She even starts dragging all the bodies into secluded areas of the house. I fully expect someone to come home and just have all these dead bodies randomly appear from every crevice of the house. No such luck. In fact, the rest of the film gets wrapped up pretty quickly. Alex comes home from her daddy time, finds an empty house, and after being attacked by the demon, has the balls to go check out Katie's house. After seeing her dad get dragged down a hallway, she confronts one of the possessed demons, gets attacked again, and while trying to escape, runs into a plethora of demon hellspawn. For what it's worth, it's a scarier movie than the third film. There's a decent amount of tension, and it's entertaining, to say the least. It has a little bit of everything, including some cheap jump scares, a good use of technology, and a throwback to cheesy 80s slasher films. Its biggest offense is that it doesn't do anything new, which can sometimes be a curse, but often turns out to be what fans want. And it keeps you guessing what's going to happen next. It's interesting to note that with the first movie, we started out with this couple that was being played with by an unexplained demonic entity, and the movie became such a breakout success that the story went well beyond its intended screenplay and is now a continuing story. We see this happen all the time with successful horror franchises. As much as I shake my head at the found footage genre, I have to give this series its props. For the most part, it's done well, and whether it's for better or for worse, the filmmakers always seem to have fun with it. It's also noteworthy how this movie brought in the aspect of technology, like using the Kinect and filming a lot of the scenes with webcams. Hopefully when the fifth movie comes out sometime next year, they'll add another aspect like this to keep it fresh. Usually a franchise starts running out of steam by the third installment and almost never survives past its fourth. However, as redundant as these movies sometimes feel, they still somehow remain fresh, and audiences are still flocking to see them. If they keep up this level of quality, I raise my glass to them, and that's really a compliment given just how much garbage exists in Horrorland. They aren't exactly Hitchcock films, but the name of the game with these movies is suspense, and that's an element that the horror genre today just doesn't use.